Hello everyone, this is Crystal Potthoff from Peripheral Arts, and do another video talking about some different color combinations. So what I have here are 3 eggs. They're all chicken eggs. One of them doesn't want to stay. You know, 2 white eggs, 1 brown egg. I have already drawn with the wax a 48 triangle pattern on here, and I will link a video in how to draw a 48 triangle. It's a very common pattern. So they've all done that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I drew it out on one. I'll make sure I do it. Okay, so we'll do this one. I'm going to do the same thing in all of them, but I'll just do one here so you can see it. All right, so I'm going to draw a triangle inside here, like that. And then in this one, I'm going to draw something that looks like a leaf, flower. We'll decide later what it is. And we'll do this. Right like that. A good book for learning to draw the 48 triangle is the Jennifer Kwong Endless Egging book. I got mine on Blurb. You might be able to get it through Ukrainian Accessories. I don't know. It is a fabulous book. I did get mine spiral bound so that it's easier for me to lay it flat. She does a great job of breaking down patterns, or I should say divisions, and then she gives you ideas on things you could put inside of them, within your pattern to kind of personalize. She's very encouraging that you would make your own designs, and she does a great job. So, all right, so. All right, so we have this. And I'm going to do that on all of these. And then we're going to come back and talk about color choices. We have choices. We have lots of choices. And the reason I'm doing the brown egg is I want to show what happens with colors when you do it on a white egg versus a brown egg. People say, oh, can you do Pysanky on brown eggs? Yes, you can. But you do have to be aware that there's some colors that don't work as well on a brown egg because it's already brown, and you want to get, as I talked about before, the contrast. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll come back and talk about color choices. Okay, so I have my patterns drawn on all 3 eggs, the same, pretty similar pattern where I did this. It's kind of flowy, so it actually looks different in every one, but that's what I wanted. All right, so on a brown egg, some of the colors don't show up as well because you don't get the contrast. So, and I'm speaking generally here, but usually a yellow or an orange is not going to show up real well on the brown egg, unless you did something like etched it. Then you would. We're not going to do etching here. We're just going to put colors on it. So for this one, I'm going to avoid these colors down. Oops, sorry, down here, because they're just not going to show up on the egg. But what I am going to do is 2 of them I'm going to do with some blues and purples. I'm not going to use the same exact colors on both of them, but my initial color on these 2 is going to be the very light blue, so that you can see how it's different on a white egg versus a brown egg. You'll see how it's a little more muted. It's a little more earthy colored when I do it on here. And then this one, I'm going to dye it in yellow. And yes, you know, we don't want yellow next to white, but we're going to add some yellow in here, and then you'll see how that shows up at the end. And I actually wrote down the sequences that I wanted to use. So hopefully I will remember what I'm doing with 3 different eggs at the same time. That was challenging last week. We did it, and they turned out cool. But this time, this is a little simpler. It may not look like it, but it is. It's a lot simpler than what I did last week. Okay, ready to dye these eggs, and we'll come back and talk about our next steps. All right, we're back. So I'm going to start with this one. This is the yellow one. And what I'm going to do is in each one of these triangles, I'm going to put what I call netting. So, well, here, I'll just do it. Hopefully I don't get wax on my chart here. Okay. So I'm gonna do netting. So I'm going to go like this. And then like this. So that is what I'm going to put in all of these. And then I am going to dye this in the Borealis green. I know I used that color last week, but for what I'm going to do here, that will work well. So I put this netting, and that's the only place that will have yellow is right there. That's what I got to do on that one. Now, here is very light blue on a white egg and very light blue on a brown egg. That is the same exact dye color. It was the same exact jar. And because this one was brown, you get this beautiful kind of muted green shade. And here you have this very brilliant light blue shade, because that's what it is, I guess. Anyway, just this is what the variation you can get with the same color of dye. Now, what I'm going to do here is I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to put the netting here. And, okay, do I want to put the netting in there? Yes, I do. And I'll tell you why. On all 3 of these, what I'm going to do is the neck. So they're all going to have a dark background, but they're going to be different colors of background. So I want my lightest shade to be in here in the netting, because the darkest color is going to be, I'll say, behind it. So that will make this really show up well. That's the plan, right? So we are going to put netting in all of these, and then we're going to dye it, and I'll put the netting in, and then we'll talk about next colors. Okay. Okay, so here is my thought process on what I'm going to do with these eggs, the color sequence. This one, I'm going to really try to do the complementary colors. So the next color I'm going to do is going to be the Borealis green. And that's just going to go in here. And I'm probably going to put a few little dots. I don't know, maybe I won't. But then I'm also going to completely fill in the area around the triangle. So it'll be here and there. And so far I've been using my Lubas Electric with the fine tip. For that, I will probably use the Lubas Electric with the medium tip. So that's what I'm going to do with that one after I've dyed it in this color. Then with this one, this was the very light blue. And I put a few little dots around here too, because it's the very lightest shade of blue. And the next color I'm going to use is just the light blue. And I'm going to, again, I'm going to fill in these, and I'm going to fill in this area here. And then for this one, I'm going monochromatic, so all over here. So my final color, I'm thinking, will be royal blue, which is why I did these dots with the very light blue, because if I did these dots with just the light blue, I wouldn't get enough contrast. But the light blue is going to be inside the white, so I will get the contrast with the light blue against the dark blue because of that. Now this one, because it was a brown egg, and I did the very light blue on it, but different shade, I am going to do going to kind of go monochromatic, but more down here. So my next color on this one, I'm going to use turquoise, which is kind of a blue color, but it's got a little bit of a green shade to it. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fill in the leaves. I'm going to do the outside here. For the final color on this one, I'm going to use the asparagus. So I'm going to dye these and then wax the areas that I talked about. Whoa. It was stuck to the little stand it was sitting on. All right, we have waxed everything on here that we want to be green. So the area in between the netting and the band and the little buds. So that's all going to be green. This is going to go into Ukrainian Accessories Crown Purple. So because it's going into purple, I am going to wash this off, and then I'll put it in the purple. I don't have to get it white. I just need to get most of the green off of it. All right. This is the one that was in the very light blue and then the light blue. So this color right here, this is the color that is light blue. That's really not very light. The very light blue is what I would call light blue. That's more of a medium tone blue. So for the final color on this one, I'm going to put it in Ukrainian Gift Shop Royal Blue. And if it's not quite blue enough, I will dunk it in the black. And by dunking it, I mean it goes in and comes right back out. And now this is the one that I put in also used the very light blue on the brown egg and got a lovely, like light teal shade. And so for my next color, I use teal, which if you put it on a white egg, you're going to get more, you're going to get more of the bluish, grayish green. But because it was on a brown egg and it was already had those green tones, the green tones came out even more. So for this one, for the final color, I'm going to use Pysanky USA Asparagus, which is a very beautiful dark green color. So these two are kind of monochrome. And this one here, because I'm doing the yellow, okay, now, oh, stay. Okay, all right, just don't fall off the desk. The yellow and the purple, I'm going to get the complementary colors. So I'm going to dye these. I'll come back and show you, and then we'll take the wax off. Okay, here we have this one that was dyed in the Crown Purple. I dyed it for 3 minutes. I let it dry, and then I dyed it again. My Crown Purple is about a year old, so, but it took. And I'm really excited to take the wax off on that one, see what kind of contrast we have. Here is the one that's blue. I put that in the Ukrainian Gift Shop Royal Blue for 3 minutes, and then I dunked it in the black just to get it a little darker, because I didn't quite have the contrast that I wanted. And then this one has been dyed in the Pysanky USA Asparagus. So these all need to have the wax taken off, but I can see I've got some good contrast, and I'm hoping that when I take the wax off, I have even more contrast. So I am actually going to do these in the oven, and I'll be back and show you the final eggs. I am so excited. Here are the final results. Here is the one that we started with yellow. We did the borealis green, and then we did the crown purple. Look at that beautiful contrast here, the yellow and the purple being complementary colors on the color wheel. That one's really beautiful. This is the monochromatic blue one, and this kind of looks black on the camera, but it's a deep blue color. And so I used the very light blue, royal blue, and a quick dip in black. And then here's the green one. And it is really amazing to me that this light color and that light color are actually the same color, but looking so different, because this was a white egg and that was a brown egg. Far more earthy colors on this one, because we started with a brown egg, a toned canvas. But we have the nice contrast here with the three colors and the monochromatic. I hope I've done a few videos now on color choices, and I hope you found this helpful. And I'll keep talking about color choices and that as I go forward, but I've got some other videos coming up that I hope you'll enjoy just as much or even more than you enjoyed this one. So thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned. Have a blessed day.